So the RodeCaster Pro II has been out for quite some time now, but a lot of you may still be on the fence because of the features or the lack of features that you think this device might have. Thus, I asked you guys to ask me a few questions about the RodeCaster Pro II so I can answer them for you and maybe give you a little bit more clarity about the features that it has or it doesn't have, and that way you can make a more informed decision when actually choosing to buy a device like this. Now, Rode does have a bunch of features planned for the near future for the RodeCaster Pro II, so be sure to leave a like and subscribe on this video. It really does help the channel a lot, and it will also let you be notified when I make another video like this. And if you have any other questions, leave them down in the comment section below or reach out to me on social media so I can make another video like this with more questions on the RodeCaster Pro II. But let's jump into the questions, and question number one is, what is the price of the RodeCaster Pro II? So locally in South Africa, they go for around 15,400 Rand or $700 on Amazon. And I have seen that if you actually buy it on Amazon and ship it to South Africa, even with the shipping and the taxes, it does work out a little bit cheaper. So that might be something to look into if you are in South Africa. And also make sure to look around your local stores. Maybe they have some discounts. Maybe they sell them for a little cheaper, but that is usually sort of the price you're looking at, around $700 or 15,400 Rand locally. Question number two is, does it have audio ducking? And yes, it does. So how the audio ducking works on the RodeCaster Pro II is it ducks everything except for channel 1. So mic number 1. So if you have mic number 1 in and you have audio ducking enabled, it will just duck all of the audio sources except for channel number 1. Now they do also have this cool fade feature, which you can assign audio sources to, and if you press the button, it will fade all of those audio sources, but it does fade them to 0, so it isn't exactly an audio ducking, but it is still a cool feature, and a cool feature that I think a lot of people can still make use of. Number 3 is, how portable is it? And even though this device is fairly big, it is still fairly portable. It is pretty easy to just unplug and move to a different space. For the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've been using this device in so many different rooms, and it hasn't been as much of a hassle to move as other audio mixers that I've had in the past. So mainly what it will boil down to is how easy it is going to be for you, depending on the amount of cables that you actually have plugged into it. And number 2 is if you are willing to move a fairly big device around when you're actually traveling. Number 4 is, are the lights distracting? Now, personally for me, I do like the lights, but if you don't like the lights, you can almost dim them completely off or just at least change them to one solid color and have them all be the same color if that is something that you want. And to do this, all you need to do is go into settings, display, then brightness. To toggle the brightness and to change the colors, you can simply click on the source, and then on the smart pad or whatever it is that you're editing, click on the color and then change the color to whatever color you want them to be. Next question. Question number 5 is, can you record directly to your smartphone? And the answer is yes, you can. Now all you need to do is simply plug in your smartphone into USB 1 or USB 2, then go into the routing option and select whatever audio sources you want to go to that audio source. And of course that will be the audio sources that you actually want to record on your smartphone. So if you just want your voice, or you want your voice and your guitar, whatever it is you want to record, you can select those sources to actually record on your smartphone and leave everything else out. And then just open up the Rode Recorder app and record directly on there. Now, of course, you can use other apps to record this on, but I found that the Rode Recorder app works really well. And it also does recognize the RodeCaster Pro II, which is always a good sign when you're trying to record into any sort of software. If it recognizes the device, it means it will work really well. And then if you have an iOS device and it doesn't work when you plug it in, just make sure to actually check out Rode's iOS cable, as the cable that you're using can actually have an impact with iOS devices. So if you have a problem connecting via an iOS device like your tablet or your smartphone, just be sure to pick up an audio cable from Rode, and that should fix the problem. Number 6 is, can it record multi-track? And yes, it can. So if you want to activate multi-track recording, all you need to go is to settings, output, and then multi-track. And then you select pre or post fader. And all that does is record in the multi-track by either using the volume at which you are set on the faders when using post fader, or by ignoring it and recording at unity when you select pre-fader, giving you the most freedom in post. And then lastly is, does it support MIDI for software mixers? And I'm gonna answer it this way. It does work directly with programs that have direct MIDI support, and it also works with programs that has the ability to actually install MIDI controllers on them. So for example, with OBS, you can actually install a MIDI plugin, which then allows you to actually use the MIDI plugin with the RodeCaster Pro II to control your scenes. So if it does support either of those, then it could work, but there's still a chance that it might not work if the program doesn't recognize the MIDI controller of the RodeCaster Pro II. And that is it for today's Q&A session. If you have more questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Also, be sure to reach out to me on any of my social media platforms if you have any other questions and you don't want to leave them down here, then of course you can do that as well. Also, remember to leave a like and subscribe on this video. It really does help the channel out a lot. And then, as always, until next time, cheers.